What's going on, guys? My name is the Subpredicate, and welcome back to the final edition of Perk Analysis. Now, before I begin, I wanted to remind you guys that down below in the description is actually a playlist that contains every single episode I've done of Perk Analysis. So if you guys, watch the series later on, then you guys can check that out for previous episodes, or if you guys are from the future, then you guys can check that out where I will be covering the perks that come out in Black Ops 3. So if you guys are from the far future, feel free to check that out. I'm pretty sure I've got those done. So with that out of the way, let's get into Vulture. Vulture costs 3,000 points and is the buried exclusive perk. Once Vulture is purchased, you will receive 4 different effects, the first of which will let you see perks, wall weapons, places to draw wall weapons, the pack-a-punch machine, and the mystery box through walls over a short distance. The second effect makes zombies occasionally drop small packs of ammo, which hold approximately 10% of a weapon's magazine size, or in between 5 to 20 points. The third effect causes certain zombies to release a cloud of green gas upon death. Now, if you stand in this green gas, you will be ignored by other zombies until the gas disappears. And the final effect makes the zombies' eyes, perk machines, mystery box, and the pack-a-punch machine have a brighter glow, which makes them easier to see. Alright guys, that was Vulture's effect. Now usually during this part of the perk analysis episode, I would tell you guys some interesting trivia about the perk. However, Vulture is really sort of a bland perk. First of all, it is very limited by the fact that it has only appeared on one map so far, which is Buried. And second of all, it's really sort of bland and doesn't have any tie-ins to the actual map it appeared in, which is Buried. So I'm going to be using the example of Electric Cherry. First of all, Electric Cherry, if they didn't do anything to, make it creepy, then the perk would seem kind of out of place, but they sort of tied in the machine, gave it some creepy stuff, some creepy aesthetics, and some creepy sounds around it to sort of fit the theme of Mob of the Dead. However, they didn't do that with Vulture. Vulture just, there's no tie-ins with the actual map Buried. I think the only tie-in is that it has sort of a Western type of theme, but other than that, there's nothing really interesting about the perk. So during this part of the perk analysis episode, I thought I would tell you guys sort of my opinions of the perk and my overall feelings about Vulture. Alright guys, so when you purchase Vulture, you automatically notice the visual effects, which was that it gives you some sort of icon to where this perk machine is, or to where this wall weapon is, to where the mystery box is, and stuff like that. However, that is actually a really good effect whenever you start the map, but later on, we've had Buried for 2 years now, and Vulture is really one of the last perks I pick up, just because one of the main things about it was to let you see through walls, which is kind of sort of like a new beginners type of perk. If you guys didn't know anything about the map, you guys could pick that perk up and it would show you a lot of the things. However, like I said before, 2 years this map has been released, and everyone knows where everything is, so buying Vulture for that effect is really kind of useless. Now the next effect is when you sometimes kill a zombie, they will drop in between 5 to 20 points, or about 10% of a magazine size. Now I don't actually find this to be very useful. Now I do believe that Treyarch didn't hit this exactly right, but however I do understand why they didn't increase it more. So first of all, let's talk about the ammo. Literally when I pick one of those things up, I tend to find that I get 1 or 2 bullets. That's literally it. Now I know in the coding it says something like 10% like I said earlier, but it literally just feels like 1 or 2 bullets every single time. I'll very rarely get 4 or 5 bullets, and even then that's not even that much, especially on the higher rounds. So I find that not to be really useful. Like I said before, I understand why they couldn't give us like a guaranteed 30 bullets every single time, but at the same time it's just really annoying when this is supposed to be sort of an outstanding type of thing with the perk, but really it's just kind of disappointing. Now the next thing I want to talk about is the points. Now 5 to 20 points, that's not very useful. Even on the very early rounds, 5 or 20 points, you can spare that. You don't need that. Now that sometimes stacks over time, which can be kind of useful, but it's not always guaranteed to be 20. More likely than not, you're gonna get something under 12 points. And literally when you're talking about things that cost like 750 and 1,000, you will need to kill a lot of zombies, just to get up those little things. But when you kill the zombies, you'll get more points. So it's literally like it's not even giving it to you guys. And I really do find that those 2 effects of the perk are not useful at all. Now the final effect is when you sometimes kill a zombie, they will drop this green gas that you can stand in, which will protect you for approximately about 10 to 15 seconds. Now a lot of the time I find this really more annoying than useful. First of all, I would have really enjoyed it more if you could sort of press right on the D-pad or something like that would activate this sort of green gas directly from you. You don't have to wait for a zombie and then kill it and then stand in it. So it could be very useful earlier on, or later on I should say, but I do understand why it might get kind of overpowered overpowered. But you know, the way they have it right now, where you kill a zombie and you have to stand in it for it to activate, I find that really annoying, especially on the really higher rounds, like on round 30 when you're trying to kill a couple of zombies. You kill like 10 and then the green gas comes out of nowhere, you accidentally step in it, and you know, the zombies just run away from you, and it sort of kills the type of flow you're trying to have when you're trying to go for high rounds on buried. It just really kills the flow of your trains on those really high rounds. So I really find this more annoying than it is beneficial, and I would have really found it more useful if you could activate it directly yourself. Alright guys, that was Vulture's Perk Analysis. I know it kind of went different from the other ones, you know, but you know, the lack of trivia was just really bad and really kind of killed it towards the end. But if you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to drop a like down below, subscribe for more zombies videos, and also guys, this is my final video before Black Ops 3. I kind of wanted to end it off with Perk Analysis. I really love this series. You guys have kind of lost the love for it, but I think it'll come back eventually when I do Widow's Wine for Black Ops 3. Foreshadowing. But yeah guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.